Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we will be discussing chapter 15 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, The Forbidden Forest. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to dive into all of the details. Before we begin, let's go to Megan for the Weekly Prophet. Megan.
Hey, so the Weekly Prophet. Oh my God. The Weekly Prophet is that all of the soundtracks for the movies are going to be in a massive vinyl box set.
Oh.
I did not see this.
Now,
This
is,
I actually did see this one for once.
I think it's really awesome. But can we talk about the price tag on this?
What is it?
Probably crazy expensive.
Like $60?
$300.
Oh, okay. Well, I was way off.
300.
It's and it's $300 and it's only for the first 5 films.
Why
What?
only the first 5?
I don't know.
What is wrong with 6 and 7?
I don't know.
Well, we
It
could talk
says-
about what's wrong with 6 and
Did you
7.
hear that? 7, 8, 9.
Oh my gosh. So it says that they've revealed plans for Harry Potter original motion picture soundtrack 1 through 5, a limited edition box set that includes the score for each of the first 5 films on 10 LPs.
Wow.
I don't know what that means.
It's like 10 different records.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Movie music maestro John Williams.
Hello.
My fave.
My guy.
ever.
Shout out to John Williams.
Yeah. Wrote the soundtracks for the first 3, Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. Because we didn't know that.
I didn't, as a matter of fact.
Patrick Doyle brought a darker tone to the soundtrack for Goblet of Fire, and Nicholas Hooper scored Order of the Phoenix. He also scored Deathly Hallows. I just don't
So why
understand.
wouldn't he
I don't
okay it?
understand why we wouldn't just get all of them, but it looks really cute. And we're doing an Instagram live right now, so I'm going to show our Instagram listeners what it looks like. So it's got like a cool box, but I just can't justify $300 on this. So they're like picture discs, which is cool. So you get like the poster of the film on there. So
Very cool.
we're going to end this Instagram now. You guys have to wait a couple weeks to see the rest of this. Bye.
Bye. Thank God they don't have to listen to me actually speak words live, because if I mess up, we'd be like, oh.
So
Sarah
okay,
really
back to the episode. So as you can see, I will post it on our Facebook page so that you can see. Each of the soundtracks come in a gatefold sleeve that have a die cut on both sides, and each of the LPs include pictures from their respective films. Except Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which will have an etching on the last EP.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
That's cool. What is it on sale now?
November 17th.
Did you
Everything's
say that?
coming out in November.
I know. I
good
didn't say it already.
Okay.
I was getting
I
there,
just didn't want to be like, I said it, Sarah. Sorry.
So yeah, that's cool, but $300? I don't know.
That's pretty steep, but I don't know. Maybe it's because does it cost so much to make them?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. I was trying to
Megan's
help
an expert.
I'm sorry, I was trying to help them out.
I'm not an
so-
expert, but I can tell you it does not cost that much for them to make those.
They just want money, money, money.
Money.
They just know that
Sorry, Katie. that was
hipsters
me.
love it and they'll drop the money on it. So
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
People out. Megan.
Maybe if it's a complete
It's okay to be a
set.
hipster.
yeah, Katie is a hipster. Look at her.
It's
I
cool.
see a beautiful woman.
She
in a
is
Tigger
beautiful,
hat.
but she's also a hipster.
I didn't say I wasn't beautiful.
And my
Whoa.
my favorite Hufflepuff.
It's getting heated.
You.
So yeah, that's the Weekly Prophet.
She's gorgeous.
We've got some vinyl box sets coming our way for the soundtrack.
Can I just say that?
Why did you
Christmas
just get
is
an
coming?
accent when you said that?
I don't know.
Did anybody else hear that?
What did you say?
I
She
don't
like had a
actually
weird
listen.
accent when she said
Vinyl.
Katie.
Vinyl booked it.
Oh gosh.
goodness gracious.
The next one we record, we're gonna be ridiculous.
It's gonna
Good
be
thing
crazy.
It's a Felix.
But you know what we're
Files.
gonna have? We're gonna have some hot
Hot
Apple
apple
cider.
cider. Thanks to Tiffany.
And some fancy little
We're just
cinnamon
having
sticks.
we're just having all the yum yums tonight.
It
aren't
seriously is a good day.
Yum.
You're welcome. 'Cause
Let's have some yummy yums.
I brought snacks.
Why are you guys doing like the old?
Because well,
Dan,
okay.
oh, it's from
Go
Dan
ahead.
Cook, and he has this whole bit
I
where
love Dan Cook.
so he grew up Catholic, and when you go to, I don't know if anybody's Catholic,
We
I
are.
am. So growing up, when you always had to go to church, and they're always
Sarah,
like,
Sarah and I. God,
you know,
I
Now I'm doing
also was raised
Yeah,
Catholic.
you were raised
Yes.
Catholic. So you know about the
when
yum
you're going
yums.
to communion, and first he's like talking about how you have to say peace,
And you
all
have to
this
sing
stuff.
it.
And he's like, and then all of a sudden he like breaks out the snacks.
And it breaks out and starts singing. And so every time Sarah and I would go to mass, we would say to ourselves, which is probably not appropriate for
We
church,
wouldn't say
we'd be
it
like,
during
"Yeah,
mass. We'd say it.
I would say it.
I wouldn't.
Let's
I'm a
have
good
some
Catholic
yum yums.
when I'm actually like participating.
Moving on.
to the recap.
recap.
All right.
On to Katie.
Recap.
So far, the stone is still safe.
Thank God.
And we find out that many of the teachers have put up enchantments to help protect it. Hagrid manages to successfully hatch a dragon, which only adds to what the trio needs to worry about at the moment.
Truth.
Yes, Meg.
Can we have a count going for how many times Sarah hiccups per episode?
Honestly, is this something I do?
Sorry.
That happen?
Yeah.
Every episode.
I think I'm
Well, but here's the thing, though. So, like, random fact about my life: my dad, when we go out to eat, sneezes 3 times. I hiccup after I eat.
weird.
I know,
Okay.
and like I don't have the hiccups. I just have 1 or 2.
I'm a married in O'Malley, so I don't
Back to the recap.
The trio hatch, pun intended, a plan to have Ron's brother Charlie or Ed take little Norberta
I
away.
really am sorry if people are over that joke. It just will never get old for us.
Never.
Never will.
So
It will always be there.
always. Just like all the corny Harry Potter jokes are always there for us.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah,
Oh.
it's you.
Your turn.
see the blue on our document?
It was so
that
funny.
means that the Ravenclaw talks.
She
Secretly a
must
Slytherin.
think that she's a Slytherin.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna slither into the slot right here.
Oh my. On to the summary.
All right,
Potter
slithering on
puns.
to the summary.
Wow.
Filch has brought Harry and Hermione to McGonagall's office, where they wait for her to come back from taking Malfoy to Snape, is what I'm assuming. Harry's thinking about how many school rules they have just broken and how he thinks he must be going back home this time for sure. She comes back with Neville in hand. He snuck out trying to warn Harry and Hermione that Malfoy knew about the dragon and intended to get them caught. McGonagall is furious, thinking they made up a story to get Malfoy in trouble. She takes 50 points away from all 3 of them and gives them detention. Gryffindor has now lost 150 points, and it puts them in last place to win the House Cup, which causes most of the school to now dislike Harry because they all wanted to see Slytherin lose. Harry feels so bad that he tries to resign from the Quidditch team, but Wood won't let him, telling him how else would he win back house points for Gryffindor. Ron, Harry, and Hermione spend the next few days and weeks studying and keeping their heads down and out of trouble. One day, Harry's walking back from the library alone when he hears Professor Quirrell talking to himself. It seems as if someone was threatening him, and he walked out of the room paler than usual. Convinced that Snape had just left the same room before Quirrell did, Harry runs back to the library to tell Ron and Hermione what he just witnessed. The next morning, they get a note from Professor McGonagall stating their detention is going to be that night at 11. Harry, Hermione, Neville, and Malfoy meet Filch at the entrance hall, and they walk to Hagrid's hut, where they learn they're going to be going into the forest. Filch leaves them in the hands of Hagrid, telling them he will be back for them at dawn. Malfoy tries to get out of going to the forest, thinking his punishment would have been something different, not servant stuff. What are you doing?
Putting filters on your face.
I hate everything about you guys. Hagrid tells them they are looking for what has been killing the unicorns that live in the forest, showing them the silvery blood. They split up. Harry, Hermione, and Hagrid go one way. Neville, Malfoy, and Fang, Hagrid's dog, go another. Hagrid hears something in the woods, and Harry asks if it could be werewolves. They see something was slithering over the dead leaves nearby. Soon, they see a centaur named Ronan. Hagrid tries to ask him if he's seen what's been killing the unicorns and drinking their blood, but he gives no real answers. Soon another centaur comes along. His name is Bane. When Hagrid asks him the same question, Bane answers like Ronan did. Mars is bright tonight. Hagrid complains once they get away from the centaurs that they never give a straight answer. They see red sparks shoot up from a distance, so Harry and Hermione stay while Hagrid goes to get the other students. Now Hagrid has Harry go with Malfoy and Fang, and Neville goes with Hermione and Hagrid. Harry and Malfoy stumble upon a dead unicorn. Harry hears the slithering noise again and sees a hooded, it says headed, sees a hooded figure crawling across the ground like a beast. Malfoy lets out a scream and books it along with Fang, leaving Harry to himself. Harry has a terrible pain in his head where his scar is. It's so bad he stumbles and he hears hooves. We meet a new centaur named Ferenz.
That's what I call him because that's how they say it.
Jim Dale says Ferenzi.
Yeah, he says Canuts though.
I think Jim Dale is Canuts.
Defense, right, but he says Canuts. All right, so he seems to already know who Harry is and lets Harry ride on his back, which the other centaurs see and criticize him for. They're angry at Ferenz and want to make sure that he hasn't been telling Harry more than he should know, or anything really. Ferenz whisks Harry away from them and closer to the edge of the forest and asks if he knows what unicorn blood is used for, and asks Harry who he thought would want to use it, not only the stone, but the blood as well. Detention is finally over. They go back to their common rooms. Harry tells Ron and Hermione about what he learned, and they discuss what they think is going on with Snape and Voldemort. Harry goes to bed to find his invisibility cloak tucked under the sheets.
Well done.
How convenient.
How convenient.
How convenient.
How
Convenient?
how.
Convenient.
All right.
It was really long.
That was a long summary.
My eyes hurt a little bit.
Well,
Gouge them out.
you can close them for a while. So this brings us to Hermione and Harry getting caught. So they get caught by Filch after they leave Harry's cloak at the top of the tower.
Dummies.
But really, guys, like they were so excited that Malfoy was getting detention, Norbert was gone, and they're just being careless. So they leave Harry's cloak at the top of the tower, and as they're and Filch catches them. Right? And
Oh, we are in trouble. That was good.
And so as they're walking to their fate, Harry's like wildly thinking of anything that could get us. I'm part of this. I am Hermione.
Hermione.
Could get them out of trouble. So wild excuses and alibis and cover-up stories. He's just trying to think of anything that could possibly be an excuse.
That Harry.
I know. And usually he can get himself out of things, but the astronomy tower, we find out, is out of bounds except for classes. So
interesting.
Number one, they're out at night. And number two, they are in an out of bounds area. Why do you think the astronomy tower is like out of bounds except for classes? How do you do like homework, and what if you're really interested in astronomy? Like, do you just go to a different tower?
Maybe you need to get special permission. I bet you it's because it's like up so high, and it's from what I envision, at least based on how they describe it in the books, it's very open. It's not necessarily like an enclosed room. Like you are out like on a balcony.
So it's like a safety thing.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume.
Okay.
I agree with that.
And well, it makes sense that he would want to use that tower since it's so open. There's enough
It would
room.
be easy for them to fly right there, get the thing without anybody seeing or noticing, and go.
Right.
I feel like people would have noticed.
And by
AKA
thing, I
Dumbledore.
meant dragon.
Well, people
But,
theoretically shouldn't be out noticing,
Yeah.
you know? So we also find that Neville has been caught out of bed too. And this is like super heartbreaking moment in Neville's line of heartbreaking
Neville.
moment. So he was trying to warn Harry about Malfoy, and I put in parentheses that this shows bravery.
Like major bravery.
Right, because he's going out, like he knows that he's breaking rules, but he is, like Katie said, he's super loyal. And he's going to warn, you know, what he thinks at the time is his friend, which in a couple of seconds we see that he then thinks otherwise. So McGonagall starts talking about how Harry thought it would be funny that Neville overheard this stupid thing that Harry told Malfoy about a dragon, and he probably thought it was hilarious that Neville, you know, believed it too. And Neville, like, his heart starts to break. And
It kind of bothers me that McGonagall puts that in his head.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because she doesn't know.
Right. Like, you have no idea. And to portray Harry as that type of person when you really have no idea is kind of crappy.
It did seem like that was the case, though. I mean, she catches Malfoy.
guess.
Why would there be a dragon at Hogwarts?
Yeah. And she's
Yeah.
probably jaded by, I mean, she's a teacher. You get kind of jaded by what students do. So you think sometimes that they're all kind of playing a game.
Trying to be stern.
Not saying it's correct,
Right.
but it happens. So, McGonagall pieces this own story of hers together, and she says it doesn't take a genius to work it out, which is kind of funny to me because her story's wrong. So she thinks that Harry told Malfoy a fictitious story about a dragon and then snuck out to see if he was going to get caught. And unfortunately, she said that Harry thought it would be funny that Neville got wind of this too and was out wandering. And Neville's heart basically breaks into pieces before us because he believes 100% what McGonagall says about her version of the story. Mm-hmm. And so Harry is like trying to convey to him, like without saying any words, that this is not true, but it doesn't get through to him because he's
heartbroken.
Yeah, he's like looking just like dumbfounded. And even Harry like thinks to himself, quote, poor blundering Neville. So that was kind of interesting to me. Like, poor blundering Neville. Like Harry has pity on him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of strange to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why at this moment in time does he feel that way towards Neville? He barely knows anything about him, really, if you think about it.
The word blundering is what's throwing me off. I think it's maybe his classwork.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think they underestimate him.
Oh yeah,
Makes me
definitely.
real sad.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you
For
guys,
sure.
it just brings me back to the fact that like, how would he have been had he had his own wand?
Yeah, I agree. I think that they kind of just set him up for failure with that, which is really unfortunate because Neville could have been, as we see later,
A BA.
really good.
When does he get his own wand? Do we know?
Not until after, the ministry. So at the end,
Oh wow, that long?
because he breaks his wand at the ministry.
Like I could see you getting your dad's wand and like having it, not using it, but
Right.
like, come on.
especially because his family is a pureblood family, right?
You
they
know
would
how wands
know. Yeah.
I think
don't
his grandmother severely underestimates him and thinks that
Oh,
why bother
definitely.
getting him a wand because he's not going to
She-
do anything.
She doesn't after the ministry, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
she's
that's
like,
kind
yeah,
of-
my grandson. But why did it take that?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
If you support and encourage, you're going to see people blossom. But if you're constantly looking down upon them and you have no like high expectations for them, of course they're going to meet your low bar.
How are they ever
Right.
going to have confidence in themselves?
Exactly.
And that's what Neville needs.
Well,
Yeah.
and now you see him though go and become, despite that, and despite clearly everybody else is thinking things negatively about him, and he basically like without even trying to prove everybody wrong, he proves them wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of just like, I'm gonna do me, and me being me is awesome. 'Cause I'm Neville.
And I feel like he fully became like who he should have been in that 7th year. Like he was finally, something happened to him where he was like, no,
It was Dumbledore's army.
I
think.
am an
And
awesome
honestly,
guy.
He's like the perfect Gryffindor. You know what I mean? Like he just embodies what, when you think of like what Gryffindor is, like he's not someone that could be in any other house. Like he is a Gryffindor. He's loyal. He's brave.
Yes.
He's Neville Longbottom.
And something else I'm kind of thinking about, like when he takes Ginny to the ball, like he's just such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a chivalrous dude.
He's a cool dude.
He's
that
one cool
Neville.
guy. So Harry thinks, poor blundering Neville, and he knew what it would have cost Neville to go out at night and warn them, and Harry feels like a sack of crap.
He should.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that Neville's reaction is more of a lesson learned to Harry than
Yes.
the points being taken away by McGonagall,
Yes.
right? Mm-hmm. So
I would agree. I would also agree because it's the same kind of reaction I think he feels when everyone realizes they lost all those points, and so everybody gets mad at him, and he's like, "I disappointed all of these people."
Well, let's get into that.
yeah, that's
That's next on the
That's my
the
topic.
old outline there.
So McGonagall is pretty, like, basically, I mean, the book straight up says that she's disgusted by their behavior.
Disgusted.
And you can tell that she's especially upset with Hermione. Like, this is not something that she would expect of Hermione. All three of them, Neville included, get detention. And then they lose 50 points each from Gryffindor.
That is a hefty fine.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Now, we see how McGonagall takes points away and gives points for the troll earlier in this book, right? Is this not a little overkill compared to what she did for the troll?
I think that part of it was like, they're like, what, really? You're taking like 50 points? And she's like, you know what? Just because you said that, 50 from all of you.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
I think she's kind of making up for lack of points taken from Troll.
Maybe.
I think she probably kicked herself and was like, you know, when you have hindsight, you're like, dang, these kids did not learn their lesson from being out last time. So now you
Yeah.
got to really up it.
Or maybe she's like, well, I didn't take that many points away then. Now they think they can do whatever they want running around this castle. I need to
just
punish
seems
them.
I agree,
Well,
Katie.
yeah.
I really agree.
Maybe it's getting towards the end of the year. A lot of stuff's happened the entire year, and she's just fed up. Like, where enough's enough. 50 points from everybody.
Why
Her
is it
own
always
house?
you
Yeah, but
three?
you just gotta.
But really, why is it always you three?
Although Ron is not actually a part of this one.
Yeah.
I
That's a
think-
lot more points, had he been.
My opinion is that I think that it's a little much for this. I mean, they're out at night. She has no idea what they were doing. It's literally just they were out at night.
Well, she thought that they were just fooling around.
Well, they thought she was
Yeah,
also
she-
thinking like,
She thought they were just fooling around, so she takes 50 points each, but they battle a troll and she takes 5 from Hermione and gives 5 to Harry and
How many do you
Ron.
think she would have taken had she known there was a literal dragon there?
Right,
Well, but-
exactly.
man.
That seems more plausible if she knew the whole story for real.
Was true,
But based
yeah.
on her story, I think that is ridiculously harsh.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
she also thinks that they were screwing with Malfoy. You know what I mean?
Good for them.
Well, yeah. As a teacher, you can't play favorites.
Right.
That
but
is
she-
true.
But she also knows how much Snape plays favorites
Yeah.
and takes points away from students in her house more than he should. And all she took from Malfoy for doing the exact same thing that Harry and Hermione and Neville were doing was 25 points. I mean, I don't know. I disagree with
She's better
her
than Snape,
decision. She is better than Snape, but why should she heavily punish these 3 for the exact same thing that Malfoy did? They were out late at night.
Yeah, but maybe it's one of those things where like parents, when they see their kids acting up with like their like, say it's like their best friend's kid, and they yell at their best friend's kid, but their own kids are gonna be like, "Don't you dare!" Like they get in more trouble regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, I guess an example I could
stricter.
pull from that is my dad always coached me in softball, and he was so much harder on me than he was the other
Yeah,
people.
I can see that. I
I
think that she's little.
I think that she holds her house to an incredibly high standard, and when you mess up like that, she's going to let you know.
Yeah.
Ravenclaws don't mess up, so we don't have to worry about how.
Well, Flitwick's also super nice.
He just gives me all the points because I'm.
We just got really heated about that. I like it. It's a good conversation.
Yeah, I just think that it was, I
excessive.
think it was a little excessive. But
When McGonagall's mad, McGonagall's mad.
yeah, but she's
She
like,
don't play.
But she's like hurting herself too, right? By doing that.
Yeah,
how
but
mad
if
she
you,
is.
but sometimes you gotta like take one for the team to
Yeah.
build better character.
And also, think about it. It's probably late at night. She's probably tired.
Yeah,
And these kids are fooling around, and she's like, 50 points!
Okay. So 5 minutes before that, why didn't she do the same to Malfoy?
Because those
That's
aren't her
tired.
kids.
She wasn't as tired 5 minutes before.
She's now exasperated.
maybe her curler fell out. She lost it on the stair. We don't know what's happened. She's got
I
green goop
guess.
on her face. Her slipper got lost. I don't know.
Maybe finding Malfoy was like, oh, this is so annoying. And then finding Neville out, and then Harry, it's like,
Yeah, she had it.
adding. And then Harry says being like, 50 points. Yeah, from all y'all. You're all getting points taken away, never coming back.
I
again.
think it actually says from all y'all.
It does.
It does. You wanna know why?
yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah,
wrote
it's
it.
quote.
Yeah, McGonagall
It's
does
quote.
say y'all.
I think she should have just stuck with 50.
All right,
That's me.
we're hung up on this.
Moving on.
We are. It's just, it's
a lot of points.
Megan can't get over it. It's
I
okay.
cannot get over
She's
it.
never gonna get over this.
So she says that she's never been more ashamed of Gryffindor students. Which, again, there is like her pointing that she's holding her house to a high standard, which is fine.
But not.
But it's not fine. So also, she says that they shouldn't be out, especially at these dangerous times.
I noted that as well.
Why is she saying that the school's so dangerous right now? Like, the kids don't know much of anything.
Because Harry Potter's
Well,
there.
they shouldn't know anything.
Right.
The
But,
troll
like,
was a
how-
fluke.
There's a
That's
man
what I'm saying.
wandering
Is it
around
because
with
of-
2 faces.
Is it because of the troll? Like, I'm not sure I understand why she says this
I don't
to them.
understand why she said that either.
Maybe she thinks because she knows the stone is there clearly, part of her, she has an enchantment guarding it.
Right.
So maybe she's thinking just having the stone there is enough for it to be more dangerous than usual at Hogwarts.
Because people
I
are going to
can
try and
agree
come
with
get
that.
that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that, but she can't hold that against the students when they are not even supposed to know about it. Right? That's what
No.
I'm saying. Like,
Well,
I
they're-
mean,
they're not supposed to
she
be out
says-
anyway, though.
They're not, but like to actually like hold them to a higher standard by saying, "Oh, it's dangerous. Like you should know." What? Like they're not going to know if you don't tell them. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
I
seems a
understand.
little bit weird for her to say that. To
It
them.
was odd. It was
Yeah.
odd.
Dear Joe.
because I don't
dear
see any need for her to like say that. I mean, okay, I see the need for her to say it to them because if it is dangerous, they should know because they were out late at night. But how should they have known beforehand?
Yeah.
And if it is dangerous, why aren't they telling the students?
Maybe she's saying it's dangerous because she knew that they were at the astronomy tower and being up there alone is dangerous.
She said dangerous times, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws here.
I think you're right about the stone. Like, it's always Hogwarts is always being attacked or trying to be infiltrated by dark forces, correct?
Always,
Yeah.
So maybe having the stone there
It's
and
just an added
yeah.
reason for people
So
to...
maybe they think that dark people know that it's there.
Yeah.
Since the Gringotts break in and all that, maybe they think that that's that, and they know it's gone, and they're looking for it, and Hogwarts is super safe. So that could be it.
I tried to break in during that time, so I was an incredibly powerful dark wizard at 7. Except I don't think I was born yet, actually.
We're gonna move on.
Yeah, sure.
No, because
80s.
yep.
She was not born. You'll be
I'm
fine.
pretty sure that this takes place in like 91, doesn't it?
I think it does.
Oh, I thought I don't know.
I
what
just
I'm
thought
thinking. I
about
was
that. I'm like
thinking
doing the
it was
math. I'm like, no, he was
89, and then
born
I
in
was like,
80,
no.
so
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Scratch
I was a
that.
powerful
I
dark
was
wizard
really
at the age of
confused.
2.
I'm like,
Why do I
hold
feel
on,
this
what?
way?
Okay.
I had to think about it, but no, yeah, I was alive.
So
My business.
back to Neville.
Nevo.
So they go back to the common room, and Harry can't sleep because poor Neville is literally crying for hours.
I shouldn't laugh. It is really sad.
It's so
It makes
sad.
you want to
It's
cry
so
a little
sad.
bit.
I mean,
Well,
he
here's-
cries all night about this.
You think he'd fall asleep?
Loyal little Neville just double crossed to
Yeah.
him by
by
who
someone who
considers
he
his
thought
best
was
friend.
a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Ugh.
So the story the next day, after the Gryffindors saw how many points were gone, was, quote, Harry Potter, the famous Harry Potter, their hero of 2 Quidditch matches, had lost them all those points. Him and a couple of other stupid first years.
Stupid first years.
Ickle firsties. Dude.
Jeez. That's a nice boulder.
That's boulder.
It's so funny.
Was that in a regular episode or a Felix file?
I think it was a Felix.
Oh, if you're not a patron,
You're
you
missing
should
out on
be.
some funny jokes.
The Felix Files.
All right.
So Harry went from being one of the most popular students to the most hated.
Way to go.
The first of many times.
Yeah, honest to God.
So hated that even the Ravenclaws and Hufflepuffs were angry with them because the Slytherins were currently in the lead. So they didn't care that they moved up in the rankings. They were so angry that Slytherin was number 1 now.
Honey
Who's-
Badger
who
don't
Shout
was-
out to Slytherin.
Oh my
Whoop,
gosh.
whoop.
Oh my
Who was
gosh.
before they lost the points? Who was in last place?
Hufflepuff.
Always.
You don't know.
I'm pretty sure. No, I'm pretty sure that
Oh
it
my
was.
gosh.
I'm pretty
You
sure that they
don't
were
know.
because at the end of the year, Hufflepuff is in 3rd. So I would assume that they were last because Gryffindor was last.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you go ahead and assume.
Sorry,
You go
Katie.
ahead.
Well, you know what they
I'm
say about
just
people who
saying.
assume.
Harry even went to go and offer to resign from the Quidditch team. Like, why on earth does he think that's going to help anything? I don't get it.
He's just upset.
An 11-year-old boy that was never sorted into Ravenclaw for his smarts.
Hey,
That's why.
people can be smart and be in other houses.
Not you.
So he vows to never meddle in things that have nothing to do with him ever again. And people also are not talking to Hermione or Neville. So basically, they all vow together to just focus on studying and stay out of trouble.
Well, that lasts, hey,
Yeah, that lasted real long.
real long.
Sorry,
Okay.
it's my turn.
Puff's gonna puff,
My name's
man.
Katie, and I'm going to talk
I'm
about
gonna
some
talk.
stuff.
So yeah, like Mike said, Harry has sworn himself off of it. Oh my God, are you Sarah?
Katie's turning into me.
Has sworn himself off of adventure. Got through it, guys.
Say that 10 times fast.
Nope. But it was put to the test about a week before exams started because he's walking back from the library and he heard somebody whimpering in a classroom. Turns out it's Quirrell, and he's in there saying like, no, not again, please. And Harry thinks that it sounds like someone's threatening him. And he hears Quirrell like sobbing in there, and he comes hurrying out of the classroom, straightening his turban. And he looks like he's about to cry. Cue weird mental image of Quirrell arguing at the back of his own head.
Yeah.
So Harry assumes it's Snape, of course, in there, and he goes straight to tell Ron and Hermione about it. And Hermione suggests going to Dumbledore, but they can't because they don't really have any proof. And who's going to believe 3 first years over Severus Snape?
Yep.
And Ron wants to do some poking around, but surprisingly, Harry says no. He's done with the adventure for now because he doesn't want to lose any more points because everyone hates him.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Harry, Hermione, and Neville, not Ron as the movie portrays it, get a note about their detention, which is at 11 at night.
Yeah. Why?
11 at night?
I
They're
don't get
11.
that.
Like, I get we're in the wizarding world, but like, what?
I mean,
They're
we can
just
also
little
talk
kids.
about they're going into the forest.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
an
I'm getting to
obvious
that in a
next
little
step
bit.
All
here.
these
Yeah.
things, all of them.
Yeah.
Every single. Is this a weeknight, like, or is this like a Friday night?
I don't know if it's
I
Or
don't
they're going to
think
be
it
like, your
says.
punishment is staying
I would
up all
hope
night
it's a
and then going to classes all day the next day.
I would hope it's a
Sucks to
Friday.
suck.
Welcome to my
Sucks
life.
to suck.
We also find out a little bit more about Creepy Filch, how he has chains in his office, well oiled in case the old punishments of hanging you by your wrists for a few days ever comes back. Charming.
Let the old punishments die.
Oh my God.
I love your Filch voice.
Can we just talk about Filch for a second? So I was watching
Felch.
Felch. I was watching, I don't know if it was the first or the second one I was really watching yesterday. And I just remember looking at him thinking, God, you looked old then. And he's also in Game of Thrones. And he looks old then.
He's looked old for like 25
I
years.
just don't like him. I don't.
What if he were here?
I could say it to his
You
face.
say I don't like the people that you portray. He's probably not a bad dude.
I don't know. He killed a lot of Starks.
Oh my gosh.
Are we in the Harry Potter fandom or are you off in Game of
no?
Thrones?
I don't even know who Harry Potter is.
That's right.
You say that every episode.
Every episode, my friend, it's my catchphrase. Who's
People-
Harry Potter?
People aren't over it.
Who's Harry Potter?
Anyway, Harry. So Harry feels a little bit better about this detention because they're going to be with Hagrid. But Malfoy, not so tough. Glad we actually get to see this side of him. 'Cause He's
Yes.
actually scared of going into the forest, which, as we were saying before, you need a permission slip to go into Hogsmeade, but shipping you off to the forest for detention at nearly midnight is A-okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Welcome
crazy.
to Hogwarts.
Go into like the biggest wizarding neighborhood community, whatever. But, you know, we'll just throw you into the forest here.
And they get split up.
Yeah.
Like
And I
children
get-
children are by themselves
Yeah,
with a
in the
bloody
forest.
coward.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Thank
don't
you.
talk about Fang like that.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying.
It just, it's just insane to me.
I love
Memory.
how Hagrid puts Malfoy in his place, though, because Malfoy's trying to be all like, my father's going to hear about this. And Hagrid's like, shut up.
He sounds like
Shut up.
Yeah. Hagrid's like, well, if you don't like it, go ahead, turn around, go back to the castle, pack your bags, get out
Yes.
of here. And Malfoy like wants to fight him, but he just gives up.
Yeah.
So
Because he's a chicken.
he is a chicken.
Yeah. I was thinking when I was reading this, I was thinking in the third book when Hermione punches him and he gets all like,
That felt good.
like she shoves her wand in his face and he's like whimpering and then
Yeah.
she like backs up and he's like, heh, 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 heh. I'm like, you were literally just cowering. And then she turns on him, punches him.
Boom!
Pow, right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kisser.
So the whole point of them going into the forest is they have to find a hurt unicorn.
Sad.
That makes me super sad.
And they have to follow the trail of silver blood.
You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. All right.
Sarah's got some handwritten notes, so we don't know what's happening.
It's anyone's
So-
guess right now.
We're going to talk about Game of Thrones now. I love how you're like choking over here in your water. All right, so the Forbidden Forest. It says home to many weird, wonderful, and highly dangerous creatures, which begs the question again: why are children going in there at night?
Can't go in
And
there.
especially if they're like not supposed to go in there anyway.
Yes.
Why is this any different of circumstance?
Why
And
didn't
you're
they just have
looking
the
for-
detention down the third floor corridor?
They're
Feed
looking-
them the fluffy. Why not?
Fluffy.
Like, and what bothers me also, like, so you're sending them into the woods, and you're sending them into the woods to look for something that hurt a unicorn. Like,
That's dangerous.
yes. All right. So the things that live in the forest that, not all of these things live here yet, but the acromantula, hippogriffs, unicorns, thestrals, werewolves, centaurs, and in a few years, aka like a year, a Ford Anglia, a rogue Ford Anglia.
Probably the coolest thing in the forest.
I would say so.
I'm probably the coolest thing in the forest. Dumbledore says it's out of bounds to students, which again, we've been discussing. Then why are they there? And I said, except when they are given detentions and have to go at night to look for what might be killing the unicorns.
You know, don't worry about it maybe killing the students.
It's so crazy.
It's
Whatever.
mind-boggling to me. And I wrote down some things that I thought were cool that have happened in the Forbidden Forest. Like we see the unicorns and we see that they are being hunted.
Yes.
We meet Aragog. We meet Grop. And then he meets Voldemort there in the last book. So interesting things happen in the forest. You learn things in the forest.
The forest is
Foresty.
crazy important, but like scary. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like super important things happen there for some place that they're never supposed to go, right?
Well, and if you think about it, like real forests are kind of scary.
They usually
they are.
always are in there at
Spooky.
night.
This isn't the only scary forest in the series either, right? Because like Voldemort's in the forests of Albania.
Yeah.
I would not want to be in there while he was there.
Nope.
Nope.
It's a theme.
What scary forests? I was reading on Pottermore. They were talking about how they were talking about building the actual forest and how yes, they could have gone to like a forest and actually film there, but they're like you're able to do so much more if you built it yourself because you don't have to worry about live animals and like things in nature happening while you're filming, which is like, oh, I guess that's so true. And so
Yeah.
they were able to, in the first film, make it a specific way to like see the animals coming and like the ground. They were talking about how they had moss on the ground and then they changed it up to be a little bit more I don't know if they use the word crazy, but a little bit different. So when you meet the spiders, I just thought it was really cool.
That is neat.
They've discussed how they change up how it looks.
Yeah.
And so we meet centaurs and not centaurs, but centaur. How do you say that? Centaur?
I say centaur.
centaur.
I think either's acceptable. Tomato,
I
tomato.
think that Sarah doesn't know how to talk.
Like the end of centaur looks like dinosaur, right? S-A-U-R.
true.
Centaur.
Centaur dinosaur.
Yeah.
He's
A
so
dinosaur?
sore. I'm so
Also, I was
sorry.
thinking this today when we were watching
Centaur.
Sorcerer's Stone for Freeform Weekend. Scary Potter Weekend.
My dad came home last
So
night.
cute.
He's like, "Oh, it's a Harry Potter weekend." I go, "No, it's a scary Potter weekend." Like,
There's a difference.
all right.
And I was like, I'm really upset that they didn't put the centaurs in the movies more often after that. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it was
They didn't look bad.
budgetary
No,
or
they
it was
looked
difficult
good.
to.
Yeah.
Well, what happened with Grop?
well,
That's a different ballgame.
but I would have loved to see like Ferenz come into
Yes.
the castle and teach. That would have been super cool to see his classroom because it like looked like outside, but it was like a classroom,
Yes.
which was always really
Well,
cool.
And it would be cool to see. So you learn
them fighting. Did they show them fighting? Maybe briefly.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It might be like one of those
remember.
extended scenes kind
Yeah.
of thing. So
A lot happened in that
centaurs
scene.
are a species that unite human and horse. So they have the torso of a human man. Well, are they female centaurs?
I would assume.
Let me take to the internet.
And then the body is that of a horse. They're
would that
categorized as beasts by their own request.
Well, how would they?
They pride themselves in living in the forest away from humans, and they are not keen on humans. They don't like them. I think they think that they are above them and smarter than them.
I have an answer for you.
Yes.
In Greek mythology, female centaurs are called centaurides. And though they are not mentioned in early Greek literature and art, they do appear occasionally in later antiquity.
Okay. So they
I was
are.
going to say that seems a little impossible
What?
Why?
for there to not be female.
Oh, I was like, I thought you meant impossible for there to be, and I'm like, explain.
So, sorry, I just wanted to read something real quick. So, they're fascinated by the stars, and later on, you see the one that we meet, Ferenz, how he becomes a teacher, and they kind of like you see in this book that they don't really like how he is willing to let Harry ride on his back, and that he like you see he's a little bit more forthcoming with talking about things than the other ones are.
Yeah.
He's mentioned as like a younger centaur, so it's almost like he's like the next generation of centaur.
That generational gap
Yeah.
that some may
Well,
feel
let me say,
experiencing
is
in
another thing that
today's
JK parallels to real world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do they banish him?
Yes.
Is that what they did? I didn't know
Yeah.
for sure, but that's what I wrote
If
down.
he were to come back into the forest after he agreed to teach, they would have killed him.
Yeah. And I thought it was cool. I don't know if you guys said this later on, but my computer's doing things.
Quit touching my stuff.
So he, they kept saying Mars is bright, Mars is bright.
Yeah.
Did you guys look what that up? Because I'm like,
I did.
saying
No.
it. Are you talking about it? What were you going to say?
I did
I'm
look
sorry
it
we're
up.
jumping a little bit ahead because I still have one more thing to talk about, but go on.
I think I looked it up. No.
I just saw something really cool that was on Reddit that I want to tell. And I
I
couldn't
don't
see
see
if
it in
you.
your notes.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't see it either.
I don't see it either.
All right, so do you remember what it was?
Did you delete it so you could talk
didn't.
about it?
God, I did
It's a
not.
conspiracy.
It is. I just want to be
Guys,
the number
I swear
one, bro.
I wrote it in there. Now I hate
so-
everything.
They keep saying Mars is bright. Why are you laughing at me?
Don't
you're
worry
funny
about
looking.
it.
And so I looked it up, and I don't know how many people know that like Mars is the god of war.
Yes.
And so Mars is getting brighter because war is coming. That
Yes.
is one person's interpretation. And I read that in my mind was like,
I'm
it's
sorry.
so true.
Shoot.
That like not even just something wicked this way comes.
Dude, the beginning of that sounded like football.
So is that what you read? Is that what you remember
Yeah,
reading?
no, I said that Mars is like the god of war, and then also
Roman god of war, we should point out.
It's
'Cause the Greek
red.
god of war is Aries.
Red.
Yeah.
Red planet. So that's also thank you.
That was a good
Thank
one.
you.
Thanks. Redeeming myself.
I really cannot get over I literally typed it down like I thought I had it highlighted. I have no idea where it went.
But I
But-
read that and I was just
Yeah.
mind blown.
That's
I'm
so
glad
cool.
that great minds think alike.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of mad that it's not in there.
And so now I'm going to talk about unicorns.
Unicorns.
They have unicorns.
You and I corns.
I'm not going to say no to that.
Okay.
So they're beautiful, pure white, horned horses with highly magical properties.
White.
Why not?
Hagrid says he's never known one to be hurt. So going back to the fact that something in the forest is hurting them and killing this animal.
They must be very strong and like very.
Why are children going into the forest if there's
Right.
something hurting a unicorn?
They are supposed to be very fast because Harry asked, "Did a werewolf kill it?" And he's like, "Nah,
Not quick
fast
enough. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So they got to be like,
It's bananas crazy.
Yeah, like-
Bananas.
I can't believe that there are really werewolves in that forest.
Oh, they're
I would believe
They're
it.
air.
I think we talked about this.
We did.
a while ago. We were
did.
speculating whether there might be a pack in there.
Yep.
because they're so shunned
Yeah.
from society. They just try to live underground.
Why wouldn't you want to live by Hogwarts?
There has to be so much protection preventing things in the forest to come out, though, I would think, like
Probably.
magically for the students. I mean, otherwise, would students be allowed to even be on the grounds, like by the
Well,
forest?
that's probably
curious.
why I agree with you, because that's probably like the edge of the forest is where
Yeah.
like the enchantments and like everything is. So like the second you walk in there, it's like not that you're like free game, but you're free game. Like you go in there, you don't know what's going to happen
So enchantments against things in the forest.
from coming out. Do you get what she's
Why
saying?
wouldn't it work both ways? Why wouldn't it be like a shield?
Well, because
Yeah, but-
Hagrid has to go in there for some reasons, right?
But also when they're in there, they come out.
I'm talking about like animals and stuff, like the creatures. Like maybe there's like an
But
enchantment.
what? How does that get? That gets a little weird with werewolves.
I don't.
though.
I'm just speculating. I
So
don't
am
know
I.
for
I'm
sure.
speculating with you.
You're wrong. So go home. I don't know.
You don't even.
I don't even know.
Werewolves are people, though.
They are. Maybe back when Remus was at school and it was all like the Shrieking Shack was haunted, but you probably still hear howls. So maybe it's like that's where the rumor got started that there might be werewolves in the forest.
Could be. You're right.
Maybe.
Because Malfoy was he at school at the time, or was he already gone? Senior.
Lucius, I think he was older than them.
I think he was
when
older than
went to
them
school with
too.
Yes.
he's like
Was-
50 or something, right?
But
Like,
was
he's
he-
more so in Voldemort's
Oh,
age
really?
range, I thought.
Well,
Isn't Voldemort like old though?
Voldemort died when he was 71.
Oh, so no, never mind.
But he's probably like 10
I
years.
think that Lucius is like Molly's.
Hold on.
Molly's era.
age?
That's what I always assumed.
Does he have a birth date on the old Moor of Potter?
Well, he's probably more apt to have a birthday on
the lexicon?
the lexicon.
Well, let's look it up.
Lucius.
Let's look it up.
So do you want me to talk more about
Malfoy.
unicorns now that
You do you, boo.
We got off on a little werewolf tangent. Sorry.
1953.
1959. September 1st, 1959.
Is his birthday?
That's what it says.
Mine says otherwise.
Oh, really?
The
Early life,
the birth
1954 to
year on
1972.
Pottermore is 1954.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It should be.
Google did me wrong.
Well, what year?
So
what
where-
year did yours say?
59.
Oh,
Molly Weasley.
Yeah, look
All
her
right.
up.
Birthday.
All right, Sarah, you go.
so unicorns are found throughout forests in Europe.
49. So they were there at the same time, but she's older.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've seen that unicorn hair is used in wand cores. They prefer a woman's touch, and this is what Professor Grubbly Plank tells us. What's interesting, I found on the intranets, that fowls, the baby unicorns, are golden at birth, and they turn silver before
Call it a
reaching.
fowl.
How do you
It's
say
a
that?
foal.
Whatever. You know I can't read. I've never heard that before. A foal?
Yes, young horses are called foals.
That's not what I've heard.
What have you
I
heard?
don't know.
We learned something new. every
Fowl
day.
are birds.
Words. I'm so sick of words. Name that movie. And so they turn silver before reaching adulthood. And their hair, their horns, and their blood all have magical properties. They're not typically aggressive, but they can be forced. But they should be handled with care. And those are unicorns.
Sorry, I'm back on Malfoy. Because I was looking to see when Lupin was born. So he was born in 60. Mm-hmm. So 54 to 60 is 6 years. So if Lupin was there his first year, he was a seventh
You were
year.
going to say a senior, weren't you?
No, I was going to think, is it six or seven? And so he would have heard Lupin in the Shrieking Shack.
Maybe it was just a
Could
rumor
be.
that got, or not a rumor. Yeah.
Yeah, a rumor that got started that, that was haunted.
Maybe there's werewolves
So maybe
in the
they were like, that
forest.
maybe there's werewolves. So Malfoy Sr. would have heard that to tell
Yeah,
Draco.
That's a good thought. It makes sense.
Sorry, I wanted to
It
figure that
lines
out.
up.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Interesting thoughts, my friends.
Indeed.
Indeed.
All speculation.
Speculation. So that brings us to finding the unicorn.
Finding Nemo.
How the children find the unicorn in the Forbidden Forest.
Yeah. So let's
On
dive.
their own.
On their own with the dog that's a coward.
And everybody books it, but hurry.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Hurry does not hurry.
No.
He stumbles.
So Harry stops Malfoy with his arm at the sight of something white and gleaming on the ground. It's the unicorn they have been looking for, and it's dead. And it says that even in death, the unicorn was stunningly beautiful.
That's sad.
It's interesting that Harry would to me, that's like a protecting thing, like holding out your arm, being like, wait, that he would do that to Malfoy. It shows you what kind of person he is, because Malfoy would be like, I hope you fall.
Well, Malfoy runs. So that just shows us what kind. Oh, you are not going to update right now. You stop. You stop this
I thought you
computer.
were yelling at me. I'm like, I'm not doing
No, my
anything.
computer took away my page and it was like, ready to update? No, I'm not. Sorry. All
We're
right.
in the middle of podcast.
Doesn't it know?
Doesn't it? No.
Gosh. So Harry is mesmerized by the way that this unicorn looks, and he begins walking towards it, and he stops at the sound of something slithering. A hooded, cloaked figure emerges from the bushes like a stalking beast, and it crouches down and begins drinking the unicorn's blood. Malfoy screams, and he and Fang book it. They take off. And then all of a sudden, Harry's scar pierces his head with a pain. He felt like his head was on fire. He was half blinded, and he fell to his knees. And so when this hooded figure hears Malfoy screaming and whatever and running, it looks up and it has silver blood dripping down its front, and it moves towards Harry swiftly.
Ugh.
And then
This entire, when I remember reading this whole scene was just terrifying.
it's very scary.
So, I don't know. So he can just leave the body and come back?
I think it was actually.
I think it was Quirrell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I mean, because they're one.
But it was probably
When to
also
become
Quirrell
one.
wasn't drinking it. It was probably
Oh, so
literally
it's
the back of his head.
Do you
Like,
think
your
so?
head is ridiculous.
I think it could have been either way.
I guess.
I don't know. Because
I
he
just
would have had
can't-
to
crawling on
Lean-
the ground hold on.
Oh,
Sarah's demonstrating.
are you going to act this out?
So is he like this?
Sarah's literally
Possible.
slithering
crawling on the ground?
I think it was just stalking. I don't know. Katie?
I think I never made the connection that because earlier in this chapter, Harry overhears Quirrell in a classroom talking to himself, and I think Voldemort was telling him,
Yep.
you need to go out into the forest
Yep.
and drink this blood."
Yep.
And I never made that connection until this reread.
Yeah.
So I think that part of him, I think Voldemort super possesses him even more right now.
Because he doesn't want to do it.
No, he does. He's terrified to do it. I mean, he
He
comes out of
knows
the
what it
classroom
does.
sobbing.
Yeah.
You know he knows what this does.
Right.
So you think that him talking in the classroom is just that, or he has no?
I think Voldemort's saying,
Words.
go
I
into
need
the
more.
forest. We need more unicorn blood.
But you don't think why aren't you going to get the stone? We need this
well,
now.
he says not again, not again.
Oh, I guess that's
Yeah.
true.
So that kind
true.
of makes me think that it's all about
The blood.
the blood.
You know what this reminds me of? Blood. There.
I don't know.
Throwback YouTube.
YouTube
video.
Okay.
video.
Probably
All
grown
right.
now.
Oh my gosh, I wonder how old that little kid is. God, he was so cute.
Okay. So Harry Scar is
On fire.
killing him
Almost
in the
literally.
feeling. And so just then another centaur, a new one, jumps clean over Harry and charges at the hooded figure, and the hooded figure takes off. And we don't read about how the hooded figure leaves, but in the movie it flies away, which we know is probably incorrect because I don't think Voldemort would have been able to have the
Wouldn't have the
I
power.
don't-
strength to do that at this time.
Yeah, I don't
And if
think that he
it's-
could have.
I think it was just a movieism.
Yes, and I
Okay.
would assume that if he was still not connected to Quirrell, but
Attached to
attached to Quirrell. If so, earlier he's they say he's something about slithering like a creature or whatever. He probably was scampering away kind of thing, on
Just-
all fours, like an animal.
An animal.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, the book makes it look very
animalistic.
Beast. Because it says it's like
Yeah.
a stalking beast.
Yes.
right, but they also kind of make it look more like a spirit almost. How it
Yes.
flies. Right? They kind of make it. They make me feel like it's how they portray Voldemort at the end of the movie when he comes away from Quirrell, and it's just like his
Oh.
head.
This is what it says.
That's kind of what the movie makes me feel like that happens.
Okay, what does it say?
It says a hooded figure came crawling across the ground like some stalking beast. Harry, Malfoy, and Fang stood transfixed. The closed figure reached the unicorn, lowering its head over the wound in the animal's side, and began to drink its blood.
Does it say anything about leaving? I don't think it does.
It says when he looked up, the figure was gone.
Yeah.
Had gone.
All right, so the centaur that comes on the scene is Ferenz. He has white, blonde hair,
Not what he looks like in the movie.
not at all, a palomino horse body, and blue eyes. So, and he knew who Harry was after looking at him and then looking at his scar. And he says, quote, "You are the Potter boy." And so even magical creatures know who Harry is and what he has done. And so Ferenz tells Harry that the forest is dangerous at this time, and it's especially for him. So I wanted to read from the chapter what Ferenz says.
Is this maybe what McGonagall knows?
I don't think so.
I would agree with Tiffany.
I don't
Because
think
it sounds like they're reading the stars.
Oh, yeah, that's
and that's
true.
an impractical branch of magic, according
And they
to
would
McGonagall.
not tell
They
a wizard
Correct.
their information.
No, they would
Well,
not.
Mars is bright tonight.
It is
War is imminent.
War is coming. Okay.
They are coming.
Oh, I'm not at this part yet.
Okay.
Am I at this part?
Yeah, you
I
are.
don't know.
You right here.
Reads from chapter about other centaurs.
I know, but this
Called
is.
I Am Centaurs. No? Okay.
I guess but so Harry gets on his back though. I guess that's what I left out of my notes here. So Harry gets on his back, and maybe there was a different part I wanted to read.
There is another note down here for you to read.
There's 2 notes?
Yep.
Well, son of a gun. Somebody else chat until I can find this.
Do you guys,
No.
how do you guys think, like, okay, what I guess I don't understand, like, how do they read the stars? Like, what does that mean?
They know
How it
things.
moves
Like they
and-
know more.
But isn't it, like, set?
well,
Do you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
it's like
Like, the sky is always
think-
gonna, like, the stars are always, the constellations, right? We can always find them in the general areas at different times of the year.
But even the
So, like,
planets
shouldn't-
move and the planets change. And
things
that's also.
move and align at different times.
Oh, kind of like how we have eclipses and that kind of stuff, right? Because that only happens so often. So whenever
You know
stuff
how
like
we
that
just
comes,
You know how we just watched Hercules, and when all
Yeah.
the planets align at a certain time, something is going to happen. So they're foretelling
Like
things.
Mercury's in retrograde, things go
it.
crazy kind of thing.
Okay, I get
And not everyone
know?
believes that either. Not everyone
Right.
believes that Friday the 13th is crazy or full moons are crazy.
Well, let me tell
it's
you,
crazy
if
at the
you
schools.
work at a place where you deal with customers, you know Friday the
or
13th
students
is crazy.
or patients.
I can tell you now, any day it's a full moon.
Oh yeah, same
Whoa.
here.
Seriously.
I mean,
Whoa.
Really?
I mean,
like,
it
we
really
get
does have an effect on
crazy
the world,
calls
though.
Off
from
their
people
rockers.
on full moon days and Friday the 13th.
it's-
Actually, this past Friday, which was Friday the 13th, wasn't too bad.
Oh,
but
mine was
Personally,
horrible.
wasn't bad for me. I was right in where I wanted to read.
Oh.
I don't know what I was thinking.
It's okay.
It's fine. All right. So Ferenz, after he's like, "You are the Potter boy," he says, "The forest is not safe at this time, especially for you. Can you ride? It'll be quicker this way." And then he tells him that his name is Ferenz. And Harry gets on his back. And then all of a sudden, all these other centaurs are around. Ronan and a centaur named Bane come bursting through the trees. And they're like, "Ferenz, what are you doing? You have a human on your back. Have you no shame? Are you a common mule?" And so Ferenz goes into this whole thing. And so this is what I wanted to read. So it says, "Do you realize who this is?" said Ferenz. "This is the Potter boy. The quicker he leaves this forest, the better." "What have you been telling him?" growled Bane. "Remember, Ferenz, we are sworn not to set ourselves against the heavens. Have we not read what is to come in the movements of the planets?" Ronan pawed the ground nervously. "I'm sure Ferenz thought he was acting for the best," he said in his gloomy voice. Bane kicked his back legs in anger. "For the best? What is this to do with us? Centaurs are concerned with what... has been foretold. It is not our business to run around like donkeys after stray humans in our forest. Firenze suddenly reared on his hind legs in anger, so that Harry could grab his shoulders to stay on. Do you not see that unicorn? Firenze bellowed at Bane. Do you not understand why it was killed? Or have the planets not let you on that secret? I set myself against what is lurking in the forest, Bane, and yes, with humans alongside me if I must. And so that was pretty intense. So that kind of lets you know, like,
He's going to do him.
He's going to do him, and like how much centaurs want to stay away from wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Firenze is like, look, there's some really crazy crap about to happen.
Yeah.
You can see it in the stars.
Well,
I'm going to fight alongside humans, whether you want to or not.
And because he's like, it's going to affect us no matter what we read in the stars and in the sky. Like, so you're either for yourselves or against yourselves. That's essentially what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to be obviously very close-minded. So again, that is generational sometimes. And there's going to be that person who comes up and wants to change things. That's just, I mean, that's real life, right? I mean, Firenze is that person.
Yeah.
And also, I wonder if Firenze has maybe such a strong gift that maybe he could read in the stars that this war that's coming that maybe they all knew about was going to also affect them. Like this wizarding war wasn't just a wizard
Not
war.
just wizards, right?
Yeah.
Do they fight in the war?
I think they do, and I
It
can't remember.
parallels.
I can't remember if it's parallel. I was going to say parallel because you just said that. I can't remember if they show it in the movie, but I'm
pretty sure they
just
do.
finished Deathly Hallows, and I'm like 95% sure that the centaurs do end up coming to fight, but it's at like the last minute.
Yeah. When Harry dies and Hagrid's carrying him back,
Yes.
Hagrid
Yes.
yells at the centaurs and says, look at this. Are you happy you decided to not fight along with us? Look what happened.
And then round 2 they roll in.
And then when
Yes.
Harry comes back,
That's
they're
right.
like, you know what? We do have to fight. And they all kind of take a friend stance and they come and help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it takes
It takes till the last friggin' second
True.
for them to be like, all right,
They're like,
we're
oh,
game.
well, it's like, oh crap, Harry Potter's dead. They knew from the stars that this was the chosen one.
Yep.
Like, now what are you gonna do?
Right.
Yeah. And then I like how he was like, the planets have been read wrongly before. Now, even by centaurs. I hope this is one of those times. So it's interesting to think like,
Firenze says that.
Maybe they read in stars that he was going to die, but they didn't know that he would come back.
ooh, yeah,
Good one.
yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about unicorn blood.
No, thank you.
Okay. So it's only drank by those who have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and you will have a half-life and it will be cursed.
Can we talk about that meme on the internet that's like, AKA, you're drinking coffee? Like,
What? I don't know.
Have you
this
never
meme.
seen it?
No.
So funny.
It's like, it basically is like, this is like unicorn blood. You'll drink it, but you're still going to have like a half-life, a curse life, because you're so tired, and the coffee's not really going to do anything, but it's kind of going to get you like staying awake, but you're still
Oh.
so
So they
exhausted.
keep drinking more and more.
That's me on the regular, guys.
Yeah, I'll find it.
All right.
Keep
so
talking.
That's all I have about unicorn. So Firenze asks if Harry knows what's hidden in the school. And so Harry puts together that the elixir of life and the Sorcerer's Stone must be meant for Voldemort. And so they return to Hagrid, and Harry tells them that they found the unicorn dead in the clearing. And then after the detention is over, they head back to the common room where Ron is found sleeping, and they fill him in on what happened in the forest. And they come to the conclusion that Snape is after the stone for Voldemort. And Ron pleads for Harry to stop saying Voldemort's name.
I wish that Ron would have just gotten over that.
I mean, he
It takes
grew up.
somewhere.
knowing
He's got
it.
to, yeah, that's like years and years and years and years. Like,
I'm not
instilled
expecting
in
him to
you.
be over it now, but like the 7th one
Well, it is
should have been over it.
taboo.
I mean,
It is.
and think about it. It saves them eventually, because then
It's
you
true,
really
'cause
can't
Ron,
say Voldemort.
Well, Ron is the one that makes them like stop saying it because he doesn't want to hear it, right? So there were many times that Harry and Hermione could have gotten them caught before they did get caught.
Yeah.
That Ron ended up stopping, which is good. But
This is not the meme, but this says, I feel like substituting sleep with caffeine is a lot like drinking unicorn blood to stay immortal. You'll have but a half-life, a curse life from the moment it touches your lips. And literally underneath it's like, too real.
It's too real.
Too real.
That's great. And so Harry discusses what friends shared with them, especially about like the other centaurs and what they thought about Harry being on his back. And he states that he thinks that's what's written in the stars is that Voldemort will return and kill him, which technically he does. Mm-hmm. And so Hermione, she's like frightened, but she also has like a word of comfort for him. She says, Harry, everyone knows that Dumbledore is the only one you know who was ever afraid of. With Dumbledore around, you know who won't touch you. Ha ha. Get it? No? Nobody?
Yes.
Yes. Later on,
He can't.
I can touch you now. That was my Voldy. All right.
Dumbledore wasn't around for that, so haha.
That's true. Anyway, who says the centaurs are right? It sounds like fortune telling to me, and Professor McGonagall says that that's a very impriced branch of magic.
Which is interesting because you see later on when she...
I mean, fortune telling, quote, Hermione is
Not everybody can do that.
crazy important in the series. So at the end of the chapter, when Harry goes to bed, he finds his cloak folded neatly under his sheets with a note that read, just in case.
Just in case.
Thank you, Dumbledore.
Thank you, Dumbly.
Dumbledore.
All right. So that brings us to our lightning bolt round. I have a crap ton of questions.
Well, that's good because I have none.
I have a crap ton.
You go, sister.
so
Throw those bolts down. Go.
Here we go. All right. So we already asked the one. McGonagall calls the school climate dangerous. What does she know? Troll or something more? We talked about that. I'm going to let that one go. I ask, was losing that huge amount of points a school record?
Ooh.
I'm going to say no.
Fred and
agree
George
with
had
it.
never done that.
I bet you his dad did. His
bet you-
dad
I
being
bet you the
Harry's
Marauders
dad.
Yeah, I was just going to say to the Marauders.
I
lose
love
a
how
bunch.
all of us probably like those four guys. Guaranteed
They were rotten.
Well, first of all, there's 4 of them.
Yes.
So
There are 4 of us.
3 out of the 4
Are we the
unregistered
Marauders?
animagus.
Someone's got to be Peter.
Not me. Not
me.
it. Nose goes.
Oh, that was close.
It was
I don't
so
know, I
mean.
just know
Rock,
it
paper,
wasn't
scissors,
me.
it.
No way. I am immune from this.
What
That was
am
the
I-
I was
first
talking to
nose.
Megan and Sarah.
Oh,
What
good.
am
That's
I
fine.
nose
Because I'm
Ghosting?
serious, you're Remus.
What am I nose goes?
I should be
who's
James because she
Peter?
hates James. Ha ha! I'm James.
I would much rather be James than Peter. Let's
Sucks.
be real.
Sucks to suck.
You're the Slytherin, and we all feel like Peter should be a Slytherin. So
I have debunked that.
Look at this finger.
I have debunked Peter as a Slytherin.
you can't say he could fit in. Not saying he completely would be.
He has no ambition.
Yeah, but doesn't he have some
Katie.
ambition?
No.
Katie.
He has bravery.
Ugh. I'm James. I call
He's a
it.
little twerp.
Your parents said it too.
You're not a twerp. Peter is.
All right. I don't know. Do you chew or pee on sheets?
She does look like a rat. I'm totally
She has
kidding.
mouse
She has
ears
mouse
on.
So does Katie.
Well, she's.
There's a
we all know
TI double
she's Remus.
gutter.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Thank you.
There's no way that Tiffany is serious.
I kind of agree with
The
that.
face.
She would be.
Dog.
I don't know if Tiffany
Your
would be a
dog
marauder.
is serious. You're not.
He is
Ooh.
me. He and I are twins.
No, you know who? She would be Lily
Why?
because
Wait,
you're like
Meg.
little good girl.
Oh,
Can I
jeez.
be
Meg would
Lily?
be Meg would be Lily.
No,
We
I don't
have a
think so.
Peter.
I think her and I would be James and Sirius.
Yeah.
Katie just has to go along.
I don't want to be
That
Peter.
makes total sense.
But I feel like who would be James and who would be Sirius?
I feel like you're serious.
You're probably serious.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
am I
you
not
died
in
first,
this?
so I'm really okay with
Am
it.
I by the wayside?
So
I didn't hear you.
James.
Yeah, she's Lily. We don't have a Peter.
Hey, baby.
We kicked
We don't
him out.
need
If you want to be,
What did you just?
What?
No, I didn't hear you.
She was Lily, so I'm James, and I said, "Hey, baby."
and she said something about being
Actually,
a stag.
she's Lily and I'm James. She said that backwards.
Yeah, you're Lily. She's James.
Is this a real
I'm
conversation?
serious.
This is a real
Okay,
conversation.
next lightning
Peter,
hold
listen.
on. We're waiting for our Peter to come, and that just sounds wrong, but auditions will be held.
Okay.
We won't hire you because we don't like him.
I have more questions.
Shoot.
Who told Malfoy there are werewolves in the forest?
We discussed
kinda
it.
talked about that.
Father.
But is that what you think?
I think that Lucius would have.
Probably.
Okay.
It's probably one of those things like you could see a dad being like, yeah, there's werewolves. And his mom was probably like, Lucius, don't say that to him. Like,
Or
he's
like
gonna
Crab
believe
and
you.
Goyle could have, right?
But do they talk? Do they know how to talk?
Not
Are they
really. I
educated
Didn't know you
enough?
could
I
read.
think they just like grunt.
Did you know he ad-libbed that?
Yes, I did.
So good.
All right. So why is there beef between Hagrid and Filch?
Because
Filch
Hagrid's
probably just
nice
doesn't
and
like
Filch
him.
is mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's hatred.
Yeah, because it's Filch.
It's a big beef.
You hear what he does in Game of Thrones.
Sarah. Goodness.
No, but legitimately, like, Hagrid's such a nice guy. And yeah, he is clearly, you see him with Malfoy, he's like, you did the, like, punishment. Like, you did the crime, now you have to do the time. Like, he's going to be that type of guy where he's like, you have to, your punishment is this, you're going to have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. But at the same time,
But
like,
it's
Hagrid's
but
also...
it's but it's like before all of this. Like, it's a long beef.
What
you know?
I'm saying is Hagrid is able to be that authority figure, being like, yes, we're going to be like doing your punishment, all this stuff, but at the same time, he's such a nice guy where he's not going to be waiting to hang students from their ankles, you know what I mean, or their wrists or whatever he hangs them from.
I think
like, there's
that
a huge
Filch-
difference.
I think that Filch holds grudges against people who don't agree with what he would want to do.
Hanging people in dungeons.
Yeah, like the fact that Hagrid would never want to go back to the old punishments makes Filch angry, because the more people that disagree with him, the lower his chances of it ever happening are.
Do you think that maybe at one point Filch was like, well, we're kind of like the same type of person because I don't do magic and you can't do magic, and Hagrid's like, no, because I'm actually a wizard and I can do magic.
I could see Hagrid doing
I wonder
that.
if that was ever like a thing, and then Filch was like,
Well, do you think
No.
that Hagrid maybe hates him so much because Filch is always after students and maybe Hagrid is always trying to protect them?
it's a good
They're
point.
kind of like opposites in that way.
They're
Yeah.
very opposites. They're opposites, but they have like
They're very, they
they're
have similar stuff.
Yes, but
Yeah.
opposites.
Yeah.
Because Hagrid's the bomb and Filch is not.
Okay, so we already talked about the detention being at 11, and it was really long. It came back at dawn. Like, come
Yeah.
on. All right. Who planned this detention? Does Filch do that?
I feel like usually it's the teacher that
Assigns.
assigns the detention, which surprises me that McGonagall would give them this.
Exactly. This seems like a Filch thing.
First, you
But-
take away 150 points, and then you send them into the forest.
But
Because Filch
Well,
is
it
in
still
charge of
doesn't even-
punishments.
it
Like,
still
does,
doesn't even make sense, because I was going to
Yeah.
say, well, maybe she sends them there because they'll be with Hagrid, and maybe she feels a little bit guilty for taking away that many points, and she doesn't want to make the detention that bad. So she's like, oh, well, if they're with Hagrid, it won't be awful.
Yeah.
But she doesn't trust Hagrid like Dumbledore does. So I don't
least
know
not
if
yet.
necessarily she
But-
would feel
not
that.
yet.
She trusts him more than Filch. But do you
Yeah.
think that Dumbledore knows every detention?
No.
Like they're gonna do this, this, and this.
I'm just surprised that she didn't have the detention, right? Like, why didn't she have them do something for her?
Because J.K.
normally,
do you
Rowling
think?
didn't want her to
do you
have
think
it.
Hagrid was like, I caused this. Let me take them.
Oh, that's a good thought. Like it's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. And
Yeah.
Hagrid thought that this would be a good detention for them because they'd be with him.
And he doesn't always have the best plans.
Yeah,
So do you think maybe Hagrid planned it?
Could be. Could
That's
be.
fair.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder what he said to McGonagall to take this detention over.
Yo,
Maybe he
Pro
kind of.
Prof M.
Maybe he had.
You, me, we're gonna talk. Oh my god. I'm gonna take the students. We're gonna do a little detention. Nothing crazy. They ain't gonna be hanging from any shackles. But yeah, send them my way at 11 o'clock at night.
Okay. I've got so many more.
I'm ready.
It's the second time that they've found blood this week. Did Voldemort start this? Start this? And was he beginning to weaken?
I feel like this. I don't think it would be the first time, because if it happened,
Well,
I
it's
feel
the
like for him to be this worried about it. I know it's the second time this week,
Right.
but I'm saying this is not the first week it happened.
Okay, so when
maybe
they
it's-
found that
maybe
before,
it's-
though? We just don't hear about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think that he's more worried now that it's happened. Maybe it happened like once before, and now it's happened twice this week, and that's the third time he's going, oh, shoot, something's really going on, especially now we found it twice in 1 week. I just feel like they would have found it more. He just didn't say anything.
I kind of...
And maybe because he was so worried about Norbert and like having the dragon that like he might have seen it and brushed it off.
Or may have missed it completely.
Correct.
I kind of think that he may have just started this. I don't know. What do you think? Thoughts?
Neither one of the Petruses care, apparently.
I'm just thinking. I don't really have an answer.
Do you think he was beginning to weaken, which is why he started it? Or do you think he was becoming impatient or what?
Probably impatient.
Yeah.
He's based on all of his plans and everything, you can tell that he's not necessarily the most patient person. Like,
Well, yeah.
Like Quirrell's first attempt at getting the Sorcerer's Stone makes him so angry that he decides to possess him.
I just found where I put my Mars stuff. It was in my stupid lightning bolt round question document instead of in the doc.
I was going to ask him, like, were you writing another Google Doc? And you were, indeed. What did you write?
I said Mars is a planet of dubious repute. It is often referred to as the fiery planet because of its red hue. It is also popularly known as the planet of war, and we see this in connection with Mars, the Roman god, Ares
is the Greek
in
god.
Greek myth of war. So there's that. Stupid
Good
me.
job, Tiffany.
We talked about it. It's okay.
Okay. Here's another one. Sorry I'm like taking over, but I was like super
fine.
excited when I was writing this. Do the centaurs know everything, even Horcruxes?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I wondered when I'd be seeing you, Mr. Potter. I would think that they have an inkling.
I think they know everything. I don't know about Horcruxes because that's kind of
Do you think they
like,
know the
weird.
past, present, and future?
Yeah.
Do they just know like a generalization of what's going to happen?
I mean-
or is it like I know specifics? I can't tell you.
I mean, with Mars, though, I think that's like obvious. Like they know war's coming, right?
I was like, what do you mean with Mars?
And I think that they know. I mean, they obviously know what's in the school. How? Because they can read it.
Interesting.
I think that they know like everything, and
yeah.
they don't like wizards so much that they're really just like shutting it
Well, they're
down.
also
And maybe they-
sworn not to tell.
That's
and maybe
true.
they don't like wizards because they see what could happen to them.
Yeah. As you're throwing papers. All right. And one of my last ones, this one was my favorite,
I hate it already.
is the clearing that the unicorn is dead in. The same clearing in 7 where the Death Eaters and Voldemort were and where Harry dropped, right before where Harry dropped the Resurrection Stone.
I feel like they weren't deep enough into the forest at this point.
They were walking for hours.
Were they?
I
They were
bet you
pretty
it could
deep.
be. Maybe it's like his connection. His being Voldemort's connection. Like, I drink my blood here.
Yeah,
and
maybe
now I'm going to
Voldemort-
kill some Harry Potters.
Harry escaped from
I
here
just thought it
once.
was
Not gonna
neat.
happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool thought.
I thought it was a cool thought.
Megan seems unenthused by everything. It's a cool thought.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to run our Instagram as well.
Oh, jeez.
She's like, yeah, Tiffany, it's cool, whatever.
But I just thought that was a really interesting point. Like,
Yeah.
is that the same clearing?
Dear Joe.
I guess if they were walking for hours, then that's valid.
I mean, they were walking for a really long time.
Well, does Harry walk for a long time?
Harry
before
walks for a
Voldy?
long time in
he
the
walk
forest.
for-
Harry, I think that I remember
10,000
him
miles.
mentioning something like, I'm deeper in the forest than when I ran into Aragog. In Deathly Hollows, I mean.
Yeah.
So, it was...
Sarah, you have the book right there, too.
Oh, read about.
I also wrote Who Found the Cloak, but I think Dumbledore, obviously, with the note.
I think so, yeah.
But, like, how did he know it was up there?
Because Dumbledore
He knows everything.
All right,
He's
now
part
that I've,
centaur.
now that I've taken over Lightning Bolt Round, does anybody else have questions? I'm sorry I, took that over,
I
but
love
I
it.
had
No, it's
so
good.
many questions.
You made up for my lack of questions, so thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any...
I'm sorry.
There's another
I
one.
think that's like 7.
Count it.
Yeah, that's a game we can play. Count how many times Sarah hiccups. Count how many times Sarah says, "Can you say?"
Can I
Or
just
can I
Can I
just
just
say?
say?
Can I just say Harry Potter is great.
Pretty bomb.
It's not my favorite character, but you know what? He's a pretty dang good one.
Okay.
What am I reading? What am I trying
You're
to
looking
find?
for how long that they walked.
How deep
He
into the
walked
forest?
10,000 miles, and he will walk 10,000 more.
Because I would walk.
Oh, it's 500 miles.
And I
was thinking 10,000 too.
500 miles just to be
the
the
man who walked
No.
10,000
Miles.
miles to get that far and you.
Da-da-da. No, it's my turn. All right, so
You know who sings? There's twin guys that sing that song. The moon was bright, but the
Okay,
clouds
we're
scudding
so
across
off
it kept
topic.
throwing them into darkness. How far is Hagrid's hut from Hogwarts Castle?
I mean, it's on the grounds.
I know that, but Hogwarts grounds are huge. They're
Ew.
like coffee grounds. They're huge.
Okay.
It can't be that far.
Are you not
because-
finding this?
I am about to be at the forest.
Does anybody have lightning bolt round questions?
No.
No. Who would you rather? What kind of a detention would you give? What would you have if you're Hagrid / Filch?
Make them write
Which one?
lines.
I would have
Like
had
Umbridge
them,
did?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. I must not tell lies.
I don't know. I would have
Professor.
just made them do busy work, kind of like how Snape made Harry go through all those files and rewrite the punishments. Not punishments, but like
Yeah, the cards
yeah,
with the it
With his
it was
dad,
it was
with
like the
his,
stuff
like-
that they did.
right.
Yeah.
it's like Filch's files of wrongdoing.
Filch's files.
Filch's files.
It's a new segment from Social Flick.
Filch's files.
I would have just had them do some type of busy work like that.
I'd make them clean, muggle
yeah,
clean.
or like clean
Clean
her
my car.
classroom. Right.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know.
With
a
your
dirty
toothbrush,
place.
and I'm going to watch you brush your teeth afterwards.
Ew.
Like
you
how
find it?
Ron had to scrub the
The shields,
room.
and
the
shit,
trophies,
yeah.
you know, like that kind
And
of.
he remembers
detention.
reading what's his face.
Tom Riddle.
Kept throwing up slugs on him.
Yep.
Sorry, it's just I'm envisioning him throwing them up, being like, "God, shoot!" Like, because doesn't he have to do it a couple of times?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Who, if you had to have detention and you can't have it with McGonagall or Hagrid or Dumbledore? Who would you have it with? What teacher?
Flitwick, I guess.
Flitwick.
Okay.
Or Professor Sprout.
What do you think their punishments would be?
Repotting mandrakes.
Yeah, that would be Sprouts.
Yeah.
She'd be like, here, put this dragon dung fertilizer on all this
Dragon dung fertilizer. That's great. Megan, did you say who you'd have?
No, I think I would probably want to do Sprout, Professor Sprout.
She
She
cool.
seems really chill.
stuff. Down to earth.
Do you think she's? Oh my gosh. Do you
my
think
gosh.
she's chill because she's Professor Sprout and she works with, magical herbs
And
and
she's head of Hufflepuff.
All right, guys. Don't
there's
be
no
making
shame in her game. All
speculations.
right.
Are we finding this or no? Should
I'm
we move
looking.
on?
I haven't gotten to any point where.
think it
Okay,
ever
well,
says.
this episode is really long, so
It is really long.
Well, my next question would be: if you had to pick a student at Hogwarts that you don't like, who would you hate to have detention with the most?
Lavender Brown.
Ooh.
She is pretty
you said that
annoying.
really fast.
Yes, you
Reasoning?
did.
Reasoning?
She just seems real obnoxious.
yeah.
Yeah.
1-1. Oh my
One,
god, I
one.
want to slap you across the face.
Do you think that? Well, that's a question for another day. About her, who would you pick, Katie?
Who I don't like.
Correct.
Crab or Goyle. I think they're horrible.
Seamus Finnegan too.
Yeah, I don't really
really
like him.
annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
He's always blowing stuff up.
I mean, that's funny, but he gets to be really annoying.
But he's like very jealous type. Throughout the books, you can kind of see it come out. Like whenever Harry doesn't pick him to be on the Quidditch team.
Do you
and-
think he's more jealous than Ron?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Ron is very jealous.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. He's the youngest of how many boys? And then
I
he's got a
agree.
sister. He's kind of like the forgotten
I'm not
child.
saying he doesn't have reason to be jealous, but he is very jealous.
So I found a little bit. So they walk into the forest and they walk and walk and walk and then they meet the centaurs, right? And then they walk and walk, walk and walk and Harry
Someone.
I'll be fine. Malfoy scares Neville, right? They come back And
What
then
a jerk.
they switch partners, and then so it says, so Harry set off into the heart of the forest. So that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
And it says they walked for deep and sweaty. And they walked for nearly a half an hour deeper and deeper into the forest until the path became almost impossible to follow because the trees were so thick. So that's pretty deep into the forest.
Yeah.
Deep in my heart.
So
And I know when he's coming back to find Hagrid, and when he's on Friends' back, it says that they walk for a very long time.
So it's plausible.
Yeah.
Back to what we were saying is that clearing where they found the dead unicorn the same as in book 7, where right before Harry drops the resurrection stone and goes to
I think
Voldemort.
it's possible.
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible.
Megan does not.
I
agree.
I can see JK being like, yep.
My headcanon says yes.
Accept.
Now, Tiffany,
Now, Sarah.
what student would you least like to have with you in detention?
Probably Crabber Goyle.
Girl.
That's what I said. Because say you got into some trouble in the forest, they're too dumb to help you out. So
That's true.
They try to no. What
Katie's
would
got
happen
feelings
is
about
they
it.
would try to run like Malfoy, but they can't. A and B, they'd probably trip over something, and it'd be funny.
It would maybe be amusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be pretty funny.
real amusing when you have a
I-
hooded figure swooping down on you. Sure. Real funny.
Okay.
I would hate.
Oh, wow. Katie just got really intense about that.
I would hate to have detention with Tiffany.
I don't blame you. I am the worst.
She is the literal definition of the worst.
The worst. You'll find my picture in the description.
It's an old joke. All right.
Let's go to our fan story.
fan story.
Fan story.
Fan story.
Thank you, Meg. I was waiting for
I was
the
like,
whole
what's
circle.
happening?
So our fan story this episode is from Derek Coulter. Shout out for the idea of creating our Facebook group.
Yes.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
So he says, I started reading the books in 1999 when I was 12. I thought there were only 2 and was super pumped when I found A Prisoner of Azkaban. Of course you did, because it's the best book. I got all 3 of them for Christmas that year, and the waiting began for Goblet of Fire, my personal favorite. I saw the first 3 movies in the theater at least 5 times each. I'm not fortunate enough. Oh wait, no, I wrote that wrong. I am fortunate enough that my oldest son is a Potterhead and I get to share the world with him. We are hoping to be able to make the trip to Florida this next summer to visit the Wizarding World. I love all things Harry Potter.
Dude, you're going to have
The time of your life.
the best time.
Time of your life. How does that song go?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about.
Time of our life.
And I do believe that I
okay.
commented on his story and said that if he has any questions or concerns about planning a trip to the Wizarding World,
Ask Tiffany and Sarah because they know everything.
to reach out to Megan and Katie.
We got you.
because we can help.
Yep.
Thank
So-
you, Derek.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Double thank you.
Thank you.
So make sure that you go to our new Facebook group to discuss this episode. I will be posting like a little discussion forum there for this episode. You can post your questions and comments, concerns, whatever. We'll respond to you. We're super active on Facebook. So like our page to get all of the latest information. We are Swish and Flick Podcast on Facebook or Swish Flick Cast on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Make sure that you also find and follow us on Patreon because by supporting us on Patreon, it will help us to bring you more content.
Yes.
Super awesome.
We're so
Mega cool
close. We are
content.
so close to our next
are-
goal.
We are super close to our second goal, which is Operation Vlogging, which we're in the process of doing some, but they will look much better
Yeah.
after we can get a new
You
camera.
guys were so close. Just be a patron. You know you want to.
The Felix files are super fun.
They are.
And
We're about to record one right now.
yeah, we are.
Bound
This
to be
is
a
a
good
long
one.
night because Katie and Megan are going on vacation. Woo woo.
Little do they know, Tiffany and Sarah are going to be hiding in their luggage.
Oh, really?
That'd be like terrifying. You'd be like, we're your tour guides. We
So-
know nothing.
We pick
about
up our
California.
luggage. Out pops Tiffany and Sarah.
my
Surprise!
So
They'd be a good prank.
Head on over to patreon.com/swishflickcast and support your favorite Potter podcast.
Better be
Your
it.
absolute favorite.
Your absolute
yeah.
favorite. Number
Numero
Number one
uno.
podcast in general. the best podcast
The best.
you've ever listened to.
Okay, that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice! What are you two doing?
That Instagram live that I just did.
It was on Mick's Mouse Tails. Mick's Mouse Tails.
Huge.